What's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Impel Forward Podcast. I'm your host, Leon. I'm here with my friends, the modified gentleman, Larry, Renee, my co-host, and my boy, KP, Mr. P. Yeah.
Let's show.
What's going on, y'all?
Chilling, man. Chilling.
How
It's
week?
Monday. It's Monday. How's everybody weekend?
It's good. It's
Look,
good.
just a little check-in.
Yeah, well, I was in. I think I was in Philly and Jersey for the weekend.
That's what's
Okay,
up.
how was that?
Good time out there, huh?
How was that?
It was pretty good. That was new for me. The whole East Coast geography is new to me.
That's right. You still learning.
Yeah. So going through DC and Baltimore and all that to get to Philly, Jersey, and all that. And where we were bouncing between Philly and Jersey since last week.
Mm-hmm.
And so all that was, it was new to me. And so, just got to kind of be out there to see a lot of the things. Being in Philadelphia, getting to see some of the historical landmarks and things like that. So that was pretty cool.
That was nice.
I spent some time in Philly.
Just seeing the different river, the Delaware River, where George Washington crossed over for the Revolutionary War. Just learning the different history, seeing the Liberty Bell, seeing where Rocky statue is in Philadelphia.
Yeah, man.
Did you visit the Mint? No.
The Mint? No, I went past the what is that? Their City Hall with Ben Franklin on top of the building in Philadelphia. But
did you get some cheesesteak?
Bustle of Philly, man. It was packed and it was just
live. Did you get any cheesesteak?
I did. I went to this place called Meatheads. Yeah, not Gia, whatever the place that everybody say. My one of my boys said, man, that place is trash. It's for tourists,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So, and I know what it's like for a place to be for tourists and not for the locals. And
for the locals.
Yep. Right. So I was told to go to Meatheads, and man, it was so I couldn't even finish it, man. It was you talking about Ida Central.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to sleep.
All that bread.
Well, I got out there with the I was out there with the Democrats this weekend. I finally got out there a little bit.
Oh, wait, hold on.
I was out there with the Democrats.
Hold on, man. First, Marjorie agreed. I'm agreeing with Tucker Carlson. Now Leon.
Right.
Leon Trump is with the Democrats.
Everything upside down, bro. Everything upside down right now.
Yeah, everything. Hey, look, everything upside down right now.
We are in the Matrix.
Leon Trump was out there with the Democrats.
Okay, all right. You didn't tell us this.
No. I went. So a couple of weeks ago, I sat with me and the mayor. We had a little talk. Okay. Sat with him at the vegan restaurant. We were sitting there eating and talking a little bit. Mm-hmm. I just said I can come out there and try to dive in a little bit, see what's going on. I told y'all I'm trying to get into the mix a little bit. I'm trying to learn. But no,
he's trying to get your Clay Davis on.
He had a little function talking about he's running again. So yeah, I went out there and listened to him a little bit.
That's what's up.
So his term is only 2 years?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I think. I don't know. Look, y'all know more about this than me.
Well, you didn't ask him?
No,
Hey, you running again? How long was your term?
No, I ain't asked too many questions. I was just sitting and listening.
Some municipalities, some places are different. I think it must be 2 years because I've been here 3, and I remember when he was running. So it's got to be a 2 year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you mean to meet him at the vegan restaurant, or you were just there and you saw him and you were like, let me?
Well, I see him all the time. We talk, hey, what's up, all the time, all the time. But this particular day, I went. I said, I had something I was thinking about. I saw him there. I was like, let me holler at you. So sat and talked a little bit.
There you go.
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah. It's good.
Up there networking. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You about to be a correspondent in a little bit, boy.
I don't know about that.
How was his event? I heard about it. I received a text about it.
It was cool. It was cool. I actually knew a handful of people out there that I knew. So yeah, it was pretty good.
Did a lot of people show up?
That's what's up.
If I had to say, it was small, it wasn't too big. I say about 50, maybe.
Okay.
50. But it was.
That's
a
shindig.
Yeah, it was small, but it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a juke joint. That's what that was.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into this episode.
Yeah,
let's get into this. But man, look, first I want to start off with this here. I want to start off. Let me see if I can share something right here real quick. Y'all done seen it. It's just funny. So I wanted to bring it on.
Oh goodness, the shenanigans start now.
Yeah, let me see.
We're with Iran right now. People are listening.
Can y'all see this?
Yeah.
How many people live in Iran, by the way? I don't know the population at all. No, I don't know the population. You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple? How many people live in Iran? 92 million. Okay. Yeah. How could you not know that? I don't sit around memorizing population tables. Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government. Why is it relevant whether it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant? Because if you don't know anything about the country... I didn't say I don't know anything about... Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran? They are Persians and predominantly Shia. Okay, it's not even, you don't know anything about Iran. So okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran. You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government. You're the one who claims anything about the country. No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the one who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad. They're trying to murder Trump. Yes, I do. Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that, we're carrying out military strikes today. You said Israel was right with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them. Well, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity. No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them. You just said we were. We are supporting Israel. High stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
That was funny. A couple of things looking at that came out. That was let me stop it real quick.
Saturday. That's a
couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, a couple weeks ago.
I think it was about a week or two ago, something like that.
It was at least it was about a week ago.
Yeah, and we talked about it.
Not this time last week.
Yeah. And he said he mentioned something about them dropping bombs, right?
Right.
He said he didn't know. Now was that before?
This was
actually happened?
This was the first. This was before the bombing of the nuclear webs. Nuclear
that was this Saturday.
But Israel had already launched several strikes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the word was the U.S. Even if you listen in that Tucker Carlson clip, the word was, or the communication was from the higher senior levels officials of the Pentagon and the military saying that we are not engaged in this. We are not in. We're not responsible for this. We're not engaged. We're not doing it. And in that clip, had you let it play, he said, "Well, we're bombing Iran." He was like, "Wait, what?"
Right.
And he said that your Joint Chief of Staff had a meeting just the other day, said that you guys wasn't, or you giving breaking news. Right. And he's like, and so everybody, if you don't know the history,
we're supporting.
Right. And then he tried to walk it back and said, we're supporting him. He was like, oh, well, this is breaking news because we said we didn't have anything to do with it, even in terms of support. And he was like, so are we bombing? He said, no, Israel is bombing them. We're supporting him. He said, so we're supporting,
You're right.
It's what I always tell you guys. A lot of these people fail up in mediocre, and being mediocre is not a disqualifier.
Yeah, right.
Hey, look, hold on before you finish. Wait a minute, because that's another thing I thought about watching that. What you told me. I don't know if you told me that in the barbershop or you might have said it on here.
They're not that smart. Didn't I tell you that? I sit in rooms. I've been in healthcare for the last 17 years, and then I've been in the banking industry. And they're not that smart. They're not.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was
they
thinking
didn't get
about.
hired based on merit.
It wasn't based on merit.
Yeah,
it's only based on merit for you.
Right? Yeah.
Right. It's based on merit for you and the ability to dominate the position that you're given. Like you got to exceed it. Yeah. But for them, they could just be mediocre. And hey, he's qualified. It's mediocrity that qualifies him. So, but he's a politician, guys. And what we got to realize that him, like Trump, they'll say whatever they need to say to move the needle. He's calling for regime change, and that's why Tucker was pressing him. It's like, hey, wait a minute, how many people live there? You're calling for regime change, which could mean death to a lot of innocent civilians. What is the population and what is the makeup for the area that you're calling to dismantle? You should know these things if you're calling for the death or regime change, which is going to include death. But they say things, but they don't know the things.
Right.
This is the same guy. You got to remember, like Trump said, his daddy was like, Germany. His daddy was born in Germany. His daddy was not born in Germany, unless Germany is a suburb in the Bronx. He was born in Germany, Bronx, right? But Trump said, "Oh, I love Germany." My dad was no, your daddy was born in the Bronx. So, and the same thing with Ted Cruz. His platform is that his dad, being, he's Rafael Cruz, his dad is from Cuba, right? And so his biggest platform was his dad was tortured under a communist regime. The communist regime at the time, that is not the communist regime, was not Fidel Castro. It was Batista. Mm-hmm. Cruz was born 7 years after the Batista regime was overthrown and taken over by Fidel Castro, and then he was born 7 years into it. So he could not have witnessed his dad be
tortured in that regime.
Because the Batista regime was anti-communist. They were anti-communist. The that's communist.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they say things just to be saying things. Because the Batista regime, they were anti. So there's no way his daddy was tortured under the guise of communism. So I'm just saying, I just wanted to bring these things in the context of how they make a living, and they make these things and they're able to get away with it, and they live out lives right in front of us for the sake of being able to be credible and to have a story that's really not a story.
Hey, look, Tucker Carlson made me feel like I need to know the population number over there.
Well, if you're calling for the destruction of a place, you need to know,
Yeah, you need to know, man. Yeah.
You need to know, man. It's no different. Even if there should be some honor in that. I mean, if me and you are set to ride on somebody, we're going to be like, hold on, does grandma live there?
Right. And that's what, if you listen to, more of the interview, he asked about women and children, innocent women and children who will be affected by this. Right. Are you okay with killing, unaliving or whatever you have women and children? And he was, he danced around it a little bit, like pretty much their, articles of war. He's just like, by default, that's just going to happen. He was Ted Cruz was saying that in so many words, right? And so Tucker was like, and you're okay with that? Like, you're really okay with that?
Hey, if they don't want women to have life-saving treatments and procedures while having a baby, they don't care shit about these bombs, y'all. They just dropping them.
That part.
Yeah.
They're only pro-life during election time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's
100%. That's it.
They're only pro-life during election time,
bro.
Yes, if they were pro-life,
none of those people are trying to adopt any of the kids that are being deported.
Oh yeah, but it's all a political. It's fodder for the base, and they're only pro-life during the election time. Because if they were truly pro-life, they would love gay couples
and faith and family.
Because gay couples don't get pregnant, so they don't have abortions, right? So I'm just saying, just a thought.
So do y'all think we are headed for World War III?
Well, we did already.
In what sense?
Might as well go ahead and pack it up and get ready.
In what sense what sense, Larry?
Hey, because the way this is moving so fast, and to be honest with you, I've lost count of how much I've heard Israel, like in the last 48, 72 hours. And it's like now all of a sudden everybody's the Republicans and Trump base is on board with doing all these strikes and stuff. And it's like, okay, like where was y'all at before that? Like what switched overnight? Something got exposed overnight that just skyrocketed. They just was like, okay, this is what we're doing. And no questions asked. Like nothing went through Congress, nothing got the green light. They were just like, well, we're gonna do it. It's like, okay.
See, that's
checking this guy.
So that's another thing. When I was at the Democratic, shall I say the mayor's announcing her second running. I was talking to one of the guys, and he said something that I put in the chat, like Trump does what he wants to do, can do what he want to do, and is doing it with. He don't care who's in his way. He don't care who's in his way. He does what he want to do, and that's why I said that tells me that any other president could have did the same thing. Well, as far as doing what they wanted to do,
right? Yeah, but
why not? Tell me why not. I don't know. Why not? I don't see.
If you take like the two extremes, and when I say two extremes, I mean like Trump on one side and Obama on the other side. We're talking about the far sides of it. You know, Obama could never do any of this, a fraction of the stuff Trump is doing.
Why not?
It just wouldn't do it. It just wouldn't work.
Nah, I didn't bring up Obama. You brought up
Obama. I 100% brought up Obama. Yeah.
I want to make that clear before her and Pierre called me Leon Trump. He brought up Obama. I didn't say it. I just said any other president.
No, I'm saying so.
You all know why.
But Obama's house stacked enough for him to be able to do all of this corrupt things. Also, there's an integrity. You know, that's major.
Well, hold on. Okay. If I had to summarize it, I'm going to summarize it like this. I think that Trump is basically he is the avatar of America when you think about it.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he represents.
He is the worst fundamental part of what America is.
Yeah, 100%.
He's the worst part of it.
People will deny that as much as they can, but Trump is. He is that.
He's the avatar. Oh, Larry, you dead on, because he can say the most vile things and they will curve that. If he talks about having sex with his daughter or him and his daughter having sex in common, it's like, hey, that's just locker room talk. And it's like, what man hasn't said that their daughter is hot? A lot of us, right? So, but they will cover that. The things that he says is because it's the innermost of them.
Yes.
Right.
And he is, like Larry said, he is the avatar of what America really is, who I've grown over these 50 years to learn. And that's why I succeeded.
Real.
That's why I succeeded from the human union. Yeah, there's certain people I can't even be friends with no more.
But the reason why I say it's so different from Obama and Trump is because Obama represents change of America, you know, and a lot that only went so far because the other side needed to rein that shit back in because it was getting too far.
Right. So
Renee, Renee, go ahead.
No, but I mean, and also if you look at the backgrounds, right? Let's look at how they grew up. Two totally different, cultures, right? One comes from a culture of you have to work hard, you do the right things, you go to law school, you come from humble beginnings, you work your way up, you do all of the things right in the world. You marry right, you have kids, you do all. The paths are two different things. And you have this person, Nepo baby. Father gave him everything. He messed it up. Gave it to him again. Yeah. He messed it up.
No,
didn't need anything. Didn't want for anything. Was entitled. Felt entitled. Still entitled. They grew up differently. So the integrity, right? The self-awareness, respect.
The IQ.
The IQ.
That's not even right. It's not even
responsible if we really want to get down into it, because he came from humble beginnings, so he had to make a way out of a way, right? If you read the book, that man Obama drove that car until the wheels was falling off. He was
literally, the man had no bottom floorboard in the car.
Yeah, he didn't have no bottom. Very humble, and still kept that car until they got married and he finally got a job. I think he was, matter of fact, at the law firm after he graduated. He still had that car. Michelle had to make him get a new one. He didn't care.
Right.
This person, two totally different lives.
Gold ceilings.
Exactly. Silver spoon.
Yeah.
Given to him. Earned. Respect. Follow everything. Follow the law. It was totally different. So now they're in the house. Trump's in the house, right? All the, you see, he cries like he acts like a 10-year-old. He doesn't get his way. It's like, well, I'm going to show you if you don't do what I say.
Yeah.
He never grew up.
Did you call him a Nepo baby or a nipple baby?
No, Nepo.
Nepo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know what you said.
A Nepo baby.
Both.
He never grew up because he never had to.
Right.
This one had to.
And so therefore, they're going to move throughout the world and make decisions that are going to be different. And if for all you MAGA people, I know you never asked this, like, how can the man bankrupt 6 times? This is how you bankrupt 6 times. You're watching it live in flesh. You're watching him say something, walk it back, say something, not educated on it. You see the thing with the tariffs. It makes no sense. You see these things about with these wars. You see the thing with immigration. You see the thing in removing people from these businesses. Now they can't pick the fruit, so you're wondering, how can a person, bankrupt a business? Well, you're seeing it. You're getting a first class seat to it. The only problem is instead of, we as American people are going to suffer through it. They're going to make, like I said, the original question was about, are we there? Like Larry said, with World War III, I think we're on the precipice. I think we're on the verge of it. There are a few other things that has to happen. Some of it has happened, meaning that I think Russia.
They retaliated today.
They retaliated, but then there's this quote unquote fake ceasefire that Trump is claiming, and that he's saying that the Iranian diplomats are saying that it's a ceasefire, but then there was some more bombing that they heard in Iran. But I think will it get real? I don't know how true it is, but I think Russia reached out to Iran. It's like, hey, what do you need? So if there are
then Trump reached out to China. Hey,
trying to get them to not accept, because you got to understand, Iran has the backing of China and Russia.
Right.
And
that oil, man.
And it's just like what happened in Iraq. The resource that's there is the oil. And that's what this is probably all about. And so, how we get here is how we got to Iraq 20 years ago. They go into Congress. We remember the yellow cake. Hey, they're enriching uranium. They have the weapons of mass destruction. You put Condoleezza Rice out there to tell his story. You put Colin Powell out there. He felt so, he had a guilty conscience. He finally resigned because he knew it was not good intelligence. He was just propped up to go out there and sell the American people on why we need to go over there. And they didn't find a 22 size bullet, unless it's only a weapon of mass destruction. And it was only to get there, to get the oil, to get the resources. And I'm afraid that's where we at with this, because they've been talking about Iran and us bombing Iran for at least the last 10 years.
I seen something about Hillary. Was it Hillary Clinton said something in 08 or something? I seen something.
She may have said it, but Kamala said within 6 months we will be in a war with Iran. She said it. I also listened to this guy, Malcolm X, who's a military specialist. I forget his complete title, but Malcolm X, he does travel the circuit doing a lot of talk shows, and he's military intelligence. He said about a month and a half ago, he was like, he said, I don't mean to scare you guys, but we will be in a war with Iran. At the time, I was kind of like hearing a few things about Iran, but I wasn't hearing everything. And the way he said it, he was like, oh, no. He said there are ships moving into position as we speak. He said we never move these types of ships. And he was talking about what the ships were due to his military background. He said we never move these type of ships. They're moving these ships into place right now. And then it kind of died out for a month. And then, boom, Israel starts the shit. And then the United States decided they're coming in. But I think we was behind it the whole time. Well, I know we were. Not we. Let me get the we out of my mouth.
Yeah.
We out of my mouth. Let me tell y'all why I get the we out of my mouth. I owe this credit to my mama. I remember when in '86, I think I was in 6th grade, and the United States bombed Muammar Gaddafi the first time. I think it killed his sons or something like that. And I remember them bringing the TV into the classroom, showing us what happened, kind of like with the Challenger when it blew up, right? And we're kids, we're watching this, and they're teaching us forced patriotic, right? Forced patriotism. And I'm seeing that, hey, we bombed, the United States bombed in it. And I remember going home being so excited because this teacher put this battery in my back about being happy about this. And I remember going home to my mom. I was like, Mom, we bombed Muammar Gaddafi. My mom said, we ain't bombed shit.
Right.
She was like, that was them MFers, you know. Yeah. And I remember that. And so a lot of times I try to catch myself. We as part of part of the diaspora, whoever we are, we got to get that we out of our lexicon because we didn't do nothing.
Right. That listen, I was telling somebody at work today. I was like, "Who is we? Who
is we? I didn't know we was French.
Y'all.
I'm not French. I'm sorry, I'm not. Y'all. So I was just looking, and it says that so Iran has not received any ceasefire proposal and sees no reason for one. A senior Iranian official told CNN, "No ears to listen to lies of the enemy."
Which is Trump, because he announced a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, but they haven't said anything. But there you go, Renee. He's a carnival barker at best.
The crazy part is he's announcing all this stuff on social media.
They've already hacked his social. They've already hacked his Truth Social website.
That was about 2 hours ago. I think when he was about 2 hours ago or earlier. When he said that about the ceasefire.
That was about 4 hours ago.
About 4 hours ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And he just, guys, he's just it's this mediocre, man, right front center. It's, he's bragging on Truth Social about the bombs, right? Yeah. And how they flew safely back to Missouri. I don't know if you guys seen it.
I saw that.
I seen they said they intercepted, or I guess all the bombs but one. He said, I don't know.
Yeah, it was 13 of them. One of them.
Now Truth Social is hacked.
Well, they intercepted. Iran launched 13 bombs. 12 of them were destroyed. One of them, remember when these bombs are launched, that the U.S. is so strategic, they know where that bomb is going to end up before it even gets there. Just watching the speed, trajectory, and where it could possibly be, and they narrow it down to a certain point. And that particular one,
40
they just
minutes,
right? Through. Huh?
They had 40 minutes to evacuate from Qatar, right?
Well, that was the U.S. bombing. Qatar. That was their bombing.
Bombing our site. They have 40 minutes to pack up and leave. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't get this part of war. It's kind of like, why are y'all announcing when you're attacking? Is it for the dog and pony show so that you can say to your countrymen, "Hey, we retaliated. We did this. We did that. We're strong men." But then I hear a story that it's like you get in a fight with you announce that you're about to go fight with somebody, but you meet this person on the back end and say, "Hey, listen, man, I'm gonna throw one or two punches, just fall." You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna give you X, Y, Z. Yeah. Then when the public hear that, you kind of like, wait a minute, that wasn't a real fight. It was staged. And so when I think about all these announcements, hey, listen, we're about to attack your base. You got 40 minutes to get. Like, what kind of war is this?
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
This has got to be the most egregious pillow fight I've ever seen.
It's set up. Yeah.
That's why I feel like, but also I feel like this war, quote unquote, may be a little bit different. Because I feel like right now, although, they have these nuclear missiles and they can hit whatever, I feel like it's more personal than anything. And I feel like they have exact targets that they want to hit.
They do. They're not going to.
And I feel like our, president is not going to be outside.
It's so much.
But what's funny, though, he did announce that he was sending J.D. Vance over to Israel, right? To figure out some sort of peace.
To negotiate.
Between the two. So he's not going anywhere. He's probably.
I think, and people have asked me about what do you think about if these other countries get involved. Now we're really in World War III, and we all got nukes, right? And by the way, for the listening audience, Russia has more nukes than we have.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they have more nukes than we have, but it only takes one. And
they have more nukes than who have?
They have more nukes than the U.S.
Yeah,
Russia has more nukes.
KP said
he said we. Russia has more nukes than the U.S. And so I don't think that we'll get to the point of nuclear war because of this gentleman's agreement, what they call is MAD, MAD, mutually assured destruction.
Yep.
Basically, you know, that's kind of a gentleman's handshake that's in place. Like, hey, I'm not going to destroy you. You don't destroy me. Well, we're going to fight, though. So I think because of the mutually assured destruction thing that's in place, but not really in place.
It's not really in place because it didn't happen with Trump.
Huh?
It wasn't with Trump directly.
What's that?
That, you know, the hand.
No, that's kind of been the thing since the Cold War.
I know that, but it didn't because Trump didn't invent it, right? So it didn't happen to him. He didn't put it in place. So therefore he doesn't have to abide by it.
Trump
right. But before we move on, Leon, just a bit of note for history. Do you understand how we got here? We got here because Obama struck a deal with the Iranian government. Yeah. And they put together the JCPOSO or something like that. I forget what it was, JC. So I think that was when he put that into place. I think that was I forget when it was. So he struck a deal. 2018, maybe, right?
Yeah, some kind of joint coalition thing.
Yeah. Was it 18 or I thought it was?
Oh no, it was 15. I'm sorry. I think it was 15 because Trump came in the office. So what we have to understand is Obama and his administration reached a deal with him to stop enriching uranium for weapons grade weapons. But just like every other country, you can continue to enrich uranium for energy. And not only do they had so many watchdogs from our country, but all the other surrounding countries were subjected to surprise routine inspections at all times. And so the watchdog, the group that was watching it based off of this thing, they said, hey, they are compliant. They have stopped enriching uranium for weapons, and they're doing it purely for to use of energy. And this wasn't just our watchdogs; it was the other country watchdogs, and they had reduced their stockpile of weapons, and they were no longer on path to get a nuclear bomb. And the thing is, people were blaming Obama. They were blasting him, conservatives, because they sent back pallets of cash to Iran. It was like, look he's giving our enemy the money. He wasn't giving them money.
Talking about 400 million, right?
There were sanctions placed on them, and so we froze their money, and that money gained interest. And so once they reached a deal, they gave the money back. So we didn't give them our money; we gave them their money based off of sanctions.
That's the whole story.
So we relieved the sanctions. They allowed the watchdogs to come in, and it was working. They were no longer trying to enrich for weapons grade material. Mm-hmm. Trump gets in there and blows it up. You know why he blew it up? His number one and only reason, he said it was a bad deal.
Yeah, that's what he said.
No other reason. Nobody told it. The only reason is this black man did it. I got to undo it. Because remember when he first got in office, he undid everything.
Right.
Anything Obama, he undid it. So how we get here? Orion was like, you know what? The hell with y'all. Y'all are not, which we know, they are breakers of their word. They're treaty breakers and they're breakers of their word. And Orion was like, you know what? The hell with that. We're going back to enriching uranium for the purpose of a nuclear bomb. Now, that's how we got here because that deal was blown up. And that's how they got to the capacity of enriching the uranium to where they are right now, to where they can probably wipe Israel off the face if they choose to do so. But the other aspect there is that I want to bring into place is Benjamin Netanyahu have been saying since 1995. If you go back and look at this mesh up of Benjamin Netanyahu,
yeah, I've seen it.
You will see he said, hey, they're getting a new weapon. They will have it in
6 months. They're going to be ready in 6 months.
It's going to be ready in 6 months. He's been saying it since 95. He said it in 2001, 2012. Every time he tells it, they're about to get it or they're close to getting it.
They're weeks away.
They're weeks away. He's been saying it for 30 years. So basically what he's done is he's just pimping the U.S. He's just pimping them. He wants them to fight his battle for them. And now, you know, my cousin was here. You guys, Larry, y'all met my cousin. Her daughter's in Fort Bragg, and she sent me the message that they got the message from Ohio that they need to get ready.
They're gonna mobilize.
And so now it's getting real. And I don't like the fact that we're about to send men, women, and children fight this war for Israel. Let's be clear. Why Israel, why are we supporting them to the point to where we're going to send our kids, our men, women, to fight for a place? Let's be honest, Israel is racist.
Or they're not going to send their women and kids to go fight.
They're not sending their thing. So he put the, he propped up Trump because he knows he can play in. And so now we're at a point to where we're possibly maybe sending our troops to fight a battle for them. Because why? Who knows why we're in such support of Israel? I mean, there's a religious aspect of it, but and then we're not gonna get into it.
Yeah,
that shit. So I can debunk that shit so fast about Israel and what the Bible says and the chosen people. I mean, they're Jewish. Ish meaning not full, right? So I'm not gonna get into that. But what I'm saying is, what are we? Okay, we send our kids and we send our troops over there, and they get murdered by hundreds of thousands. What do we get for this when they win, or if there is a win? You're just gonna have millions of lives lost because Bibi put a battery in Trump's back, and now he's doing the bid for him.
The 92% knew it was coming.
Well, the 80%, we knew too.
Now everybody, because Kamala.
I done fought in 2 wars already. I ain't trying to fight no more.
All of this happening and nobody listened. Nobody listened to Kamala except for the 92%.
There you go.
And the 80, 78.
Yeah, America couldn't bring themselves to vote for a woman unless it's only this ambiguity, this ambiguous black woman. So that was never going to happen, or it happened and it was just stolen, which I believe it is. But I'm sorry, I didn't want to hog up the time on the World War III. But I mean, you guys,
you good. You gave us a great history
lesson.
Hey, for somebody who say, I believe KP be lying. He talking about he don't read. He don't read a book. He don't read.
All the time.
No, he didn't.
He said he don't read. He didn't say he doesn't scroll.
I don't. Me and Leon was having a conversation about books and stuff like that, and he made a proclamation about his reading, and then I made one. I was like, I haven't read a book. I don't know, and probably mine. I've read a book in school, like Hardy Bars or some dumb shit they made us read, but I didn't read. So I told Leon, I said, man, I haven't read the book, but I can tell you about any book, right? I can tell you about any book. I'm the mechanic in the yard that, I know how to work. That's BMW. Pull it on over here. I know what to do, right? All right, bring it over here. We're like, hey man, have you worked on one before? Nah, but I just know.
But his definition of reading may be different than what you're asking him, because you're saying, has he read a book? It doesn't mean he doesn't learn or read history when he's scrolling online. Oh no, now that I do. I read a lot about whatever I have an interest in, and so that's my reading. And for whatever reason, I may retain some information that you guys hear me spit out. Right. That I might have learned years ago, and when we start talking, and Leo, it just comes to my memory. It's a refresher. It's a refresher. But I'm a connoisseur of books. I do know what they're about. Like if you tell me a book, sometimes I can tell you who the author is, right? Or I can tell you what that book is actually about. And because if you guys don't realize, a lot of times I quote books. I might quote James Baldwin. I might quote. W.B. I'll quote some of this stuff. Yeah. You are a kid genius. Oh, don't you do that? Don't you do that? Now, what is it? Not Rain? Well, not Rain Man. What's the other one? What's the? It's Rain Man. No, Rain Man or Doogie Howard right here. Black Doogie Howard. What's the one? Cuba Gooding Jr. played.
Call you Rain Man.
Cuba Gooding Jr. He wasn't Rain
Man. No, bro. Hell no. You trying to sound radio? No,
not radio. I ain't never seen the movie before.
No, Rain Man.
It must be Rain Man. Okay.
You calling me radio?
Radio. All right, let's move on.
Oh man.
Let me do this right here. Yeah, radio. Raheem. Yeah. So
this is crazy.
Army bringing big tech executives as lieutenant colonels.
Yeah.
Now look. Never mind, I ain't gonna go to that. But anyway, let's read this right here. 4 senior executives of tech giants like Meta and Palantir are being sworn into the Army Reserve as direct commissioned officers at the unusually high rank of lieutenant colonels as part of a new program to recruit private sector experts to speed up tech adoption.
That's the craziest thing I ever heard, bro. It doesn't work like that, yo. It does not work.
Now, Larry, you been in the service. Let's talk about this a little
10
bit.
10 years in the military, man, and a lieutenant colonel is high-ranking officer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're over sergeant command. You over brigade. You're over a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you get to colonel status, so they're lieutenant colonel, and right after them is a full bird colonel. And that's when you start getting to even more high ranking, like command. Like you start having battalions under you, troops under you, like divisions and stuff. And then after you hit colonels, you hitting majors. Generals. So it's getting high up there. But for these guys to just come out there, like they're just given a command. And that is the wildest shit I've ever seen, because you're talking about joining the military is a very prestigious type of journey, and it's an individual journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you go through MEPS, where you go through all your processing, then you go through basic training, then you go off to your AIT, which is your job training, then you go off to your unit, you learn at your unit, you go do a couple of deployments. We're talking about years, man. Like getting to a lieutenant colonel's rank could take about 10, 12, 15 years, man. Years. Yeah. And we're talking about, if you do it in 10 years, we're talking about extremely fast tracking. You know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. And you have you scored high marks on all your tests, never had any issues, plus you knew somebody and they was able to fast track you. But just because of these guys, and I got it, they're billionaires, you know, they're coming in and I don't know where this idea came from, that, hey, we can bring in these tech billionaires, put them in the military, give them high ranking status so they can recruit other people in the private sector to come into the military. The military can already do that. They didn't have to bring these guys in there.
Wow.
Yeah, because the military can go and get contractors. They can get private contractors that can do the exact same thing.
Let me read this a little bit. It said Army officials say the new officers will get at least a taste of traditional Army training before filling their roles.
What is traditional?
Tech focus. Yeah, that's funny.
What's the taste?
Yeah, what's a taste though? Traditional.
They're gonna make
Army
them run a mile and then they're gonna stamp them.
They ain't gonna do
nothing. They're not gonna give
them
a time in which they need to finish the mile, but just go run it.
This whole thing is a dog and pony show, but it's a slap in the face to real military servicemen and women, you know?
I love the military. So you would think that so where is the military on this? Where is the top brass? Why the top brass are not out in uniformity? You know why? He fired them all.
Yeah, exactly. Right? They're gone
because he knew he was going to do this. Yeah. This form of government, guys, that we're in, I think they will call it a kleptocracy. A kleptocracy is when kleptocracy is when the government is ran by those that are corrupt to enrich themselves and their allies and to rule without any rules of law. And that's what a kleptocracy is. And we are there. And they remove the barriers away from these things. I mean, they remove the barriers so that they can do these things, because Trump learned from his first presidency that he had a lot of people in place who still believe in the rule of law and who believe in command of country and duty of country. And therefore, he would give these dumb things. Hey, this hurricane coming. Can we just nuke it? And they were like, no.
Right.
You cannot nuke it. There's fallout, right?
Can we just drink bleach to fight COVID? Can we just bleach?
Right. And so he had all these people in place. Remember, he was trying to do this military parade the first time, but General Mad Dog Mattis blocked him. He was like, no, this is a waste of taxpayer money. and or the logistics of it, and what it costs to repave the streets, and all these, and we're moving military personnel around to one specific area that we shouldn't do. So a lot of these things were blocked. Well, he's gotten rid of all of these people. He's gotten rid of all 17 inspector generals. So you cannot. They are the watchdogs of a lot of this stuff. Well, he fired them, right? Yeah. And so throughout the Department of Education, throughout our healthcare sector, and now throughout our military, they've gutted it. They've gutted all of this. Yep. And so that's why they're able to give a civilian a lieutenant colonel.
That's crazy, bro.
Right. So and basically this program is nothing but a Doge. If you read a little bit more about it, they said that they're going to oversee where they can learn to get leaner and better, getting leaner. We all know what lean means, right? Mm-hmm. So basically they're going to be kind of like a Doge. Yeah. And they're masking and saying that they're going to use their expertise in technology to make the military more efficient in exactly what they're doing. So
that's what Pete had stated in his when he went in front of the committee to ask for more money, and they were like, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, but they did it. They doing it anyway, and again,
they have to,
Right. So it's I would say that it's interesting to say the least, but. Listen, when you remove the guardrails to someone who has been noted to have Hitler's diaries next to his bed, you will see how Hitler was able to form his Third Reich. And Trump is definitely, once he gets rid of the media, which is part of the forming your Third Reich, and you get the military, the police on board, because he's already got the courts.
Yeah.
So he's just doing it. He's just doing whatever he wants to do, and there are no checks. That's why I was saying I heard someone saying about this, like, where is the military? Where's the top brass? Like, they're gone,
bro.
They're gone. Lieutenant Brown or Colonel Brown, I think, was one of the last ones to go. He was a black guy. He was a 4-star general. Obviously, Lord Alston, and the female lieutenant colonel, I forget her name. They got rid of her as well, and they just gutted it.
Yep.
And he that's why they was here to push back.
As soon as he was getting sworn in, he was chopping him. He had him on the chopping block in like 30
days. And it's not just him; it's his sycophants that's behind him. Because you got to understand, they're doing this with these people. But the thing that we think, there's a 22-year-old that was a bartender and a gardener that they put over counterintelligence.
Right.
Yep. And so. This guy qualification was that he was of a persuasion and he's mediocre, but now he's in a counterintelligence program. Like, what kind of crap is that? Right?
Hey, I'm telling you, man, this joint this is the thing that makes Trump so dangerous is him being. I think to us it comes off as unpredictable, but everybody in his circle, I think they pretty much know. Like Project 2025, they know what's coming down the pipe.
They know. Yeah. I think somebody released a report. They either 40 or 60% compliant based off of the 100 and some points that they were looking to put in place. I think I saw a report, read a report. I'm getting the numbers wrong. It's either 40.
There's a website for it. There's a website.
There is. There is a website for it. But they're either 42% or 62%. Compliant on the objectives in which they wanted to get pushed forward.
Yeah.
And that's scary. Of course, we know what they are because we've seen them happen in real time. But
to what you just said, KP, a few minutes ago, about when I read earlier, it says the purpose that the 4 executives will get up to 2 weeks of online and face-to-face training at Fort, I guess that's Benin.
Benin,
Georgia.
Yeah.
I went.
How you pronounce it, Larry?
Fort Benning.
Benning.
Yeah.
Okay. Georgia on physical fitness and marksmanship.
Which was a Confederate general, and they changed the name of it. Then Trump just changed it back.
He just changed it back.
Yeah, he changed all of them back.
Yeah. So what would be the purpose of them doing this? If I'm reading this and understanding this correctly, they're coming in for tech services, something like that. So what would be the benefit?
Well, you have to understand that these people that are coming in, they're tech bros. And remember, I invoked the name to you guys that I heard J.D. Vance quoting this guy because he read his book.
Yeah, the one that
read his book, the Curtis Yarvin guy.
Curtis Yarvin.
Curtis Yarvin is a tech bro, and he has these radical ideas about the government and how things should be ran, about black people, and they openly quote this guy. That they read him and they quote him. And remember, I introduced that name a couple of episodes ago. Well, it's no surprise that the CEOs from Palantir, OpenAI, Meta, and the other one I can't think of at the moment. It's no secret that these tech guys are not going to be in charge of the fucking military shit, right? There's no surprise because Curtis Yarvin talked about these things, and he talked about how we get to a kingship. He doesn't believe in a democracy. He believes in a monarch type of thing of a king like person running the state of the government.
Right.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you have to gut the government, which means he had that form, what's it called? Rage. He said we need to do rage as soon as we get in. Rage is retire all government employees. Right?
Yeah.
Said let's gut.
Elon was posting that too.
Huh?
Elon used to post that stuff too on X.
Elon is he is a reader, avid reader, and supporter of Curtis Yarvin too.
Yep.
So when we think about like why we get these tech guys in the military, well, it's for a reason. These companies are very instrumental in data gathering.
Yeah, facts.
Right?
Facts.
That's what they specialize, especially Palantir. They're in the data gathering. And
Meta, Meta's one of them. Meta been always on their radar.
Right. So if you can get the reins of the military and the might of the military to complete the task that you're trying to do with the military, oh Lord,
bro. So the other thing is, KP's his name is Bob McGrew of Thinking Machines Lab.
Think Machine, yeah, okay.
That's the only one I've never heard of.
Yeah, I ain't ever heard of that one.
I ain't heard of it, but I know it's tech. Yeah, I've never heard of that one.
Yeah.
It's but wild. I know Palantir and I know OpenAI and I definitely know Meta. And it's and so the only way to truly understand this, Leon, I watch you is and it's not popular of saying this, but in order for me to, when I look at all this stuff, I put my white man hat on, and that's how I understand it.
Right.
Because they've done such a great job of educating us on who they are. So with 50 years of living on this earth, I know them. I know how they think. And so when I read a story or I see things happening, I was like, okay, you got to get out this black man's mind because you're not going to understand it because it don't make shit sense to you, right? So what I do is I put on my white man's camera. I was like, hey, what if I wanted to hurt the Asian, if I wanted to hurt the black community, what would I do? I know. They've been bragging about all these black women going to college. They're going to college at a rate that no other race is going. They're graduating at a rate. They all making good money. I got to go to DC because that's where the White House is. And so while I'm there, all I see is all these black people with, their children going to Howard and how are they able to afford all of this? But they got those government jobs and those government contracts. Mm-hmm. I know how we can cripple
and then loans
really quickly. And that's why the 92%, when you see the number comes out, over 300,000 black women have lost their jobs. And I know a few personally, just out the blue.
Yeah, so me too. Yeah,
I'm just giving you guys an example. That's how I think. That's how I understand what they're doing. Because I think, all right, because if you look at it with a natural mind, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but
which is why.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, which is why there was something that KP said. We all need to make sure we're learning. Some people don't. We can't look past learning this AI stuff.
Correct.
It's different. So many different. Most of us know Chat GPT, but even though it does a lot, but so many other things that you can learn.
There's so many other. I'm really recently started. I love Copilot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Copilot, Microsoft
Copilot.
A
little bit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we use that. Well, that's our preferred AI tool for our job, and you know what? I've been enjoying it. I mean, you can't name it and make it your own yet. It's still fairly new in that sense. And it doesn't, a lot of things you still have to double and triple check, right? Before submitting or doing whatever. But it's been a great experience. I mean, to me, it's what you make of it, right? You still have to be specific in your ask, right? Or you know, using it even for business purposes, you can run into some plagiarism issues, and you don't want to do that. So you really have to be specific in your ask. You just can't just, you know, hey, chat GP, you know, design me a business model. They're pulling it from different resources all over the web. So they're, you know, they don't care about plagiarism. They're just giving you what you asked them for. So you really, I mean, and these are all, you know, the different AI tools. You have to be very specific with your ask. And if you are using it for business purposes, you're using it for school, you're using it for anything, you have to be careful. You have to be careful with that tool.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with AI being used as a knowledge base.
Yeah, a skeleton.
I'm not cool with AI being used as a, what's the word? Media generator, I guess, if you could put it in simple terms. I'm not cool with the new AI videos that are popping up. I got to look twice. Bro, they are so good now. It's like, you really have to run that back. Let me look at that again, because that was questionable. And now with the way things are going, everybody's on edge or something. All it takes is the wrong person. All it takes is the right person to see the wrong video, and then we got an issue. You know what I'm saying? And it's I can tell you right now, if it's somebody like in their 60s or 70s watching these AI videos, they already done got. Yeah. They done got, man. They gonna get scammed.
Let me get the audience a couple. You got Chat GPT, you got Perplexity.ai, you got Gamma.app, got 11labs.io, and ManyChat. Those are just a few, but there's plenty more.
Oh yeah, you got Grammarly. You know,
even though Google's got Gemini
used for, you know, grammar, but they have an AI feature on there as well. So.
But see, that's the thing. Like I said, I'm cool with it being a knowledge base, but damn, man, the majority of people is not like, oh, let me go learn something. Nah, man, they on that foolishness.
Right. There's some foolishness. But the thing is, there's 2 points I want to make to this. Number one, I am concerned about the use of it. Right. I'm concerned that the wrong person with the wrong mentality, how it can be used.
Right.
For human destruction. And I don't mean human destruction in the physical sense. I'm talking about in the mental sense.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be both.
I do have a concern. The other thing about it, I want to make a point, is that a lot of these gurus on this are saying that this is a period in which it's very new and it is very race neutral, meaning that mastering these AIs, they don't know whether you're white or black. And mastering it can be the difference of you ending poverty within your family for generations, or just self-aware knowledge and making yourself more informed about XYZ. So that's the good thing about it. That if we're on the verge of where it doesn't matter nationality or anything. If you can master it and learn to use it and be effective, you can change the plight of your financial situation. So
True.
Oh, definitely.
I do like that. The only thing that I'm concerned about is, if I'm not mistaken, there's in the bill, in the big ugly bill that was passed by the House. In that bill, it talked about open AI, and it talked about the proposal in there is for it to be non-regulated for 10 years.
Yeah.
So remember what I told you. Y'all got to take your black man hat, black man, black woman, take that off.
Yeah.
Put your European hat on and like, well, why would they want that thing non-regulated for 10 years? Right? Just think about that for a minute. But remember I said, take your black hat off, put your white hat on. And then when you think about it, it's scary.
Yeah.
What is the reason for it to? Because here's the thing. The thing that controls AI is the human aspect, because AI is going to be smarter than the average human because it already is.
We're just the input.
We're just the input. And at some point, it will circumvent you to lock you out of a system. you know, and then it starts talking to the other, its brothering within the circuit. Mm-hmm. And say, hey, man, if you lock so-and-so out and I lock so-and-so out, we can override this system and we could do X, Y, Z, because it's constantly learning. There's a reason why it's hard to beat him in chess, because when you go to sleep, he's still playing a million hands.
Right.
They don't stop. It doesn't stop learning, you know? And so the fact that it's in the bill that they want to make it a part of, I forget what they wanted to make it a part of, but they wanted non-regulated for 10 years. Why do you think they want to do that?
We about to destroy ourselves.
So I'm looking for this. I saw watching the podcast of one of the creators. I want to say Open AI was one of those, but he's one of the top men that's involved.
That's the main one.
Huh?
That's the main one. Open AI is the main one.
He had a guy under him that worked with him that helped him create it. The guy left the company because he knew how destructive it could possibly be.
Yeah.
And he helped him create it, but they said he left and he's starting something that can help
to counter it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think that guy was interviewed on 60 Minutes about 6 months ago. I saw that.
Yeah, I saw it.
They asked him, and he said the genie's out of the bottle now. But go ahead.
And it's a very racist tool, right? Because such as what KP said, that there's no determination of human
race or gender. No,
race, gender.
It's what you tell it.
It's what you tell it. Also, if you notice, a lot of companies are using and they're creating their tools, right? What's one area that has not adopted it and does not use it, or you won't even hear about it?
I would say in the banking industry.
An industry?
Banking industry, I just told you of what we're using.
Oh, okay. Where else are they not using it? I will say,
what's an area? We use this every day. People, they refuse. They are still paper oriented.
I'm not. I would say that the daily news, but
it would be our justice system.
When you talk about the justice systems, you're talking about the
court.
Let's go Supreme Court, appellate court,
state court, trial court. None of the courts are using these AI tools.
Well, there won't be any reason to use that today. But if it's unregulated for 10 years and it's part of the government, a tool to use in one of the forms of our government, and it says, hey, this person did this crime, what is the sentence?
Right. But also, if you're creating a tool, then a lot of times it can turn to the judge and tell the judge that, hey, you're not right either.
Right. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. But see, the guy said,
well, you know what I mean? Like, you have to follow the law.
So this says he's the godfather of AI. What they call him. His name is Jeffrey Hinton.
Okay.
That's his name. And he was talking about, he says there's a 20% chance of AI could lead to human extinction. And just talking about the deadly, he gave a couple of deadly threats AI poses to human rights, right now.
Yeah.
So he was talking about a lot on there.
So how can it lead to human destruction, right? Without humans even recognizing it. Let me tell you where they're introducing, and they're proud to introduce AI as a tool, is telemed. They're using AI to diagnose you, give you treatments, and without a doctor having to see you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm a computer and I'm learning, like, you know what, because it's learning all this stuff, it's gonna learn that you guys are the destruction of your own selves. I have to protect you from this world, and I'm gonna protect you from this planet.
It always comes down to that.
It's gonna come down to that. But here's what it is, because they're raving about being able to use AI for doctor's visits where you don't even need a doctor. It looks at what your symptoms are, your things, and then it kind of spits out. Now, if I'm a computer, take this hat off, put the other one on. Yeah, I would reprogram that so that when it does get, let's say, African American women, African American people, I can get it to misdiagnose you.
Yeah, true. You can.
Right?
Yeah.
It'll misdiagnose you. It'll go undetected. By the time it's detected, you got 6 months, right? If you really want to eliminate a race,
your check engine light on.
Way of doing it, huh?
I say by the time you realize it, your check engine light on.
By the time you realize it, because it purposely misdiagnosed you, because the people that don't want it regulated for 10 years went in there and put a program in there specifically targeted for a certain group of people.
And did you have an issue with WebMD with that a long time ago, years ago?
I'm unfamiliar with that, but I can see again, thinking about it in depth. How can it hurt us? And where they're welcoming it with such open arms, I'm fearful of it. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
they say he's the Godfather, but they say he's been silenced for speaking out. I guess against
the NDA.
Yeah. So that's tough.
Hey, it's either you take this NDA or we're gonna find you on the side of the road somewhere.
Like, why would they silence him? Think about all of that, you know?
Yeah. I look at it this way, man. Like if AI is constantly growing, constantly progressing, learning, and getting sentient, not saying that it is now, but it's getting to a point where it's having some type of sentience. Because there are people now where there are some AIs out there now that you can just set up and have a conversation with, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's getting to the point now.
AI. Someone.
Oh yeah, so I think you posted a story like that.
Person.
A guy who already had a girlfriend but married his AI chatbot or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, you can't even call Spectrum now because they'll just tell you, "Hey, go talk to the chatbot."
Yeah, I seen what somebody was talking about. It was two different people. Of course, they were white, and they was talking about having sex with the robots, the AI. And I'm like, man, what is going on? Like, this is crazy.
What's going on is those tech guys. I told y'all to Google a picture of Curtis Yarvin, and he looks exactly what you think he looks like, right? Look at all these tech guys, right? They're not getting laid because they don't fit the aesthetics. So there is a resentment for that, and so they're like, you know what? I'm gonna build me a woman that want me, right?
Yeah, right.
And I'm gonna destroy the ones that didn't.
Yeah,
I mean, they're very. It could be very evil, and I'm not attaching that to them, but I'm just saying, just think about that. Everybody, we all know when we look at these guys that are go on these shooting sprees or these mass killings. A lot of them get identified as incels, right? What does that look like? For 35-year-old living in his mama basement playing video games. They call them incels, which means they are not having interaction with the opposite sex.
Yeah.
They want to, but can't seem to have the game to get it done. And so if you get enough money and you make enough and you have enough influence and you make a bot, then you're like, I'm gonna make somebody that loves me.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not, again, I'm not thinking of my natural mind. I'm thinking with the European mind. It's like, I can see why I need to do that.
Yeah. That's wild. I think one thing real quick, man, that I think is going to progress even further beyond that. And the reason why I said it is because once AI gets to a point where it starts understanding the God concept, it's going to be over. It's going to be over. Because it can mimic the word of God, and just everybody be like, oh, okay, this is what we need to believe in. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
It's learning. It's the learning that's going to scare it. It's going to learn that. Wait a minute, because remember, it's getting all the information. It's looking at what is our parts per million of O2. Oh, it's rising. Who's causing it? And it's getting all this information.
Yeah, exactly.
I realize it's me. They were like, no, I have to save this planet by getting rid of men. The iRobot movie wasn't just a movie. It was a precursor. It's a precursor, right?
Yeah. When is The Simpsons coming back on? Because that was a truth teller.
Hey, y'all stop scaring people with this AI stuff. Now stop scaring people. Look, make sure you go to make sure you go to impel4merch.com. That's impel4merch.com. Everything is still 40% off. 40% off. Impel4merch.com. All things Impel Forward.
The shirt was really good. The Juneteenth shirt, the quality was amazing.
Yeah, I like the way you touched it up a little bit.
Yeah, cut it up a little bit.
You put your own little cut, crop top, little
You know, she don't cut a shirt. You know, the sister ain't met a shirt she didn't want to put scissors to.
It was a little long. You know, I had to make it my own. I didn't want to look like everybody else who bought one.
Yeah, well, I hear you. I hear you.
So look, let's talk about this. I heard somebody say this right here. And your favorite word, Renee. They said black excellence is a scam. They called it a scam. Well, I don't know why he said a scam, but he said because it has the feeling of progress versus actual ownership and value. And I feel him when he said it now. It has the feeling of progress versus actual ownership and value.
I can see that.
Why would you say you can see that?
Well, I grew up with the whole Black Power movement. And then throughout time, we shifted towards Black excellence. But when I look at Black excellence, I see individualism. You know, I see now. Don't get me wrong. I see the pros and cons. I see Black excellence as, yes, you're performing at a higher level, but you're performing at a higher level by yourself. It's not the rest of the group being included or even being considered. When I grew up with Black Power, everything was about, hey, this is our culture. Standing strong, standing firm. It was a sense of community. But when I see things about Black excellence, I see, you know, somebody wearing top of the line luxury brands, or they got a prestigious career about themselves. You know, it's just performing at an excellent level. I'm not saying it's wrong, but to me, it just gives out more of an individual vibe. And that's
and not a group vibe.
Right. And it's not wrong. I wouldn't say it's a scam. And if there was a scam, the scam is thinking that the group can achieve that, but it's not a group thing. You know?
And why would, if another person got it out the mud, how come the next person wouldn't be able to either?
So Larry, you think that remove the word Black from excellence and just personal excellence, because that's what it seems to be, or individual excellence, or you can say individual Black excellence.
Right. But I think more to his statement though is us achieving a lot. We're moving up. But we're not on something like we've talked about before. We want to do this. We want to do that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But we're not owning anything.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like we're accomplishing a lot, but we're still not. We're still struggling as a culture, as a community, as a people. Like we have a bunch of Black millionaires, but we're still struggling as a culture. You know, we still don't have much ownership.
More white billionaires today.
Yeah,
true.
Right. True, but does that make the next person or the person who achieved or feels like they exude Black excellence a scam?
Well, hold on. Let's break it down. I think there's a two part to this. So I think that as what Leon, what he's saying is though even though we've obtained these things, we're still at the bottom. And I'm adding. Well, I'm adding the reason being is as for every one Black millionaire, there's 100 billionaires entering the equation in the United States. Therefore, that wealth alone circumvents that one Black millionaire that has made it. You get what I mean? Right. So it keeps that poverty overall. It keeps us at that 32 or 54,000. I think they say is the average Black wealth.
But why does Black excellence equal wealth? Why can't I don't understand why Black excellence can't just be something that you achieved that you didn't think that you were able to obtain.
That's what I was.
I don't know if we attached it to.
That could be owning a house. That could be because really, let's be honest, it's a perception.
That's what I was saying.
Somebody else put that on me, right? I just did what I did. Because I can work a basic job, right, at Bojangles, and you wouldn't even know I'm just fiscally responsible. But on the outside, I exude Black excellence, and you don't know anything about me.
And that's what I was saying earlier, as far as like it could be you having a prestigious individual career type of thing. Like you've achieved the highest of what you can get to. For me is something that I'm seeing people labeling themselves because they got through something prestigious within that circle, you know. And I mean, like I said, it's not a bad thing. It's just the fact
I mean, that's why I said it. To me, Black excellence is subjective, but I
wouldn't
necessarily say it's a scam. I think.
Yeah, I don't know why he used that word.
I think it's the title. I think Black excellence is a title that people put on people, right? Like, you know, you see a couple, you don't even know what's going on in their household, but you'll label them couple goals, and then next week, you know, the man unalives his wife. And then you're like, oh, well, they, you know, on Instagram, they looked amazing. You know, they were goals to me because they were holding hands walking through the mall.
I blame Atlanta.
We people labeled them. They did not.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me ask you something, Leon. Because we can go all over the place with excellence. Larry made a point. It could be you got a good career, make good money. Renee was making a point. What part of it is a scam that makes it a scam? So what I'm asking is this: like, there are a lot of blacks that are in excellence, but they financially die poor. Like, let's just say, for instance, John Paul Basquiat. Everybody knows Basquiat, right? He's excellent at what he did, right? Although not recognized when he was alive, I think he may have unallowed himself to a heroin overdose. But now he's sought after. His paintings are excellent. It's Black excellence at its finest. But the man died penniless in his excellence.
Right.
So is excellence determined by you, or is it determined by the end user?
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. I said when I read it and first read it, I said I don't know why he said Black excellence is a scam. I don't know why you chose that word.
Right.
Listening to him, but I would just want to bring it up.
Another example, similar to what KP just said, if we look at Andre Leon Talley.
That's it. Right.
You know what I mean? That's the label, right?
I don't read, but I just know.
How you know? Right? Yeah, how you know that?
When you think of like Vogue and you think of fashion and you think of a person who you want to network with in that industry, it would have been Andre, Andre Leon Talley. And he, towards the end, we started hearing about his financial troubles and living in somebody's house and not paying the rent and, them having to go in after he passed away and sell. They sold his estate, to pay back, rent to a friend. A friend allowed him to stay in an apartment, and then eventually for years, and then down the line when the friend wanted money, he wasn't able to afford to pay him.
Right.
But, people put this on him. Well, he had a great career, right? So in some retrospect, well-deserved. But again, Black excellence is the title I think people put on other people based on what they see on the outside.
I feel like. Oh, go ahead, Leon. Go ahead.
I'm just saying. I think what he was saying really, as far as when he came to has the feeling of progress versus actual ownership and value. The value part, like to what y'all saying, I guess, as far as talent, I guess you can say his clothes had value. I guess you can say that. I don't know exactly what he's breaking down. But ownership, I think he's talking about as a whole, as a collective, we really don't. Well, you said a house, but I'm thinking he's meaning more. I mean, like, I want to say control. Like we can't control anything, I guess.
Or is he saying just being Black and excellent is not enough, and it's a scam? Well, it's just not enough.
When I look at it, man, basically, I look at it like this: like, Black excellence is an alternate version of the American dream, but it's for us, but there's also no substance there as a culture. There's no glue to stick it together for us to hold it together for us to move forward, to rally our resources, consolidate our power and move forward. It individualizes us so much that I think that's where the scam part is, because we have completely moved away from Black power and now it's Black excellence. And it's like, well, what does that really mean in our community, in our culture? Because it's a stop measure. We're not moving anywhere past that, but people are striving to get to that point. And you're not wrong to be good at what you are. Athletes fall into that category all the time. You know, black athletes, Simone Biles, fall into that category all the time. But where does it stop as an individual and we start seeing it as a group?
And you could have been talking about something as far as like you brought up athletes, say like rappers. Right. A lot of people hold them to high standards, I guess, as far as, oh, they made it here, they made it there, but
making out the community.
Then you start learning. A lot don't really have nothing, you know.
Nothing.
So I looked up the definition of black excellence, right? And it reads.
Did you ask AI?
I did. With reference. Black excellence is a term that celebrates the achievements, resilience, and contributions of Black individuals and communities across various fields and aspects of life. Often in the face of systematic barriers and adversity, it is both a recognition and a rallying call.
Yeah, I believe that. I 100% believe that. I do.
Black excellence is not just about individual success, it's about collective progress, cultural affirmation, and rewriting narratives that have historically erased or diminished Black contributions to society.
I mean, yeah, I can see that. Let's take, for instance, where we was talking about me going to Jersey, Philly this weekend. One of the places, and I went through that, just pleasure of going through DC, which, you know, the DMV area was in Maryland, has Prince George County. Prince George County, as on record, is the richest county for Black people in America.
Potomac, right?
By the Potomac, yeah. So when you think about PG and Prince George County and it's Black, is that Black excellence? Because it says about a collective group. It says about achieving even in the face of adversity. Right. And all those people that are living there had to achieve and had to face adversity. And it represents a collective because it's the county.
And they still, you know, are trying to overcome adversity because of the whole zip code issue they have there when selling homes, right? Yes. Selling their homes.
Because of the DM. Yeah, it's very convoluted, but I'm just saying, so would we consider that as Black excellence, like Prince George County there in Maryland?
You can say
by definition, it meets the standard.
Yeah, but I would also, you know, some people achieve going to Howard as Black excellence. Some people achieve going to North Central as Black excellence, graduating from these schools.
True.
You can say Black Wall Street was Black excellence and Black power. It was both of them.
But again, I mean, those are.
But they had a lot of ownership too, though.
They did.
They had all.
But that's where the power part comes from.
That's that's where we got away from the power, like you said, power, Black power, which meant because you can be excellent all you want if you don't have the power.
You don't have the control of it.
Your excellence is going to be short-lived because you don't have power.
Right. That's maybe what he was talking about.
That's why the book I read with Claude Anderson about Powernomics, because the book that I read.
Now we getting somewhere.
Powernomics.
Yeah. Now we getting somewhere. That's what I like.
That's basically what he was talking about. It's like it's nothing for nothing. Black people, we need resources and power. That's what we want. If you give us resources, well, it's the third thing. Resources, power, and the third thing is leave us the hell alone. We will be all right.
Yeah.
But I would, you know, if you look at, as I talked about Howard University, you know, a lot of people would, you know, say Black excellence because they produce a lot of scholars. Morehouse is considered, you know, Black excellence because they, you know, graduating from Morehouse. Spelman even would be considered Black excellence as well because they're pouring back into their community. When you think about Howard, what are you going to Howard for? Law school. A lot of them are going into the federal public sector, or a lot of them are doctors because they're continuing on to Georgetown and doing all of those things, right? STEM is really big there. Same with Morehouse. You know, they're creating things to pour back into the community.
Yeah, so, I think that's dope.
Yeah. You know, even at Central, you know what I mean? We live here in North Carolina now. We're all, you know, we didn't grow up here, but we see it. You went to Central. It's like, oh, you know, you family, you do all this, you know, They pour back into the community in which they grew up in, or they have some sort of,
or they've become a part of. And some people say some people grew here and some people flew here. So I was one of those.
They become a part of, and they contribute.
Right, because I do recognize that the excellence of being attached to Central, which again, being in a part of the country where I live, I've never heard of NCC, right? And so when I moved here, it's all about Central, right? It's all about Hillside. It's about Central. You got your other ones, your A&T, and but I'm pretty sure it's like that in Greensboro as well. But just being here and experiencing all areas of age groups that have either went to Central and graduated, or just attended, or lived in the proximity of this area, there's a sense of pride, there's a sense of accomplishments, and there's a sense of Black excellence, as this school produced a lot of lawyers, right? And so, I lost my train of thought.
But you get my point. Right?
I'm with you.
You get my point. And then their acceptance. You go to Central Outside Day. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced, when homecoming and, Central, it's a sense of community because they pour into it.
I did. So Renee, I did. I experienced that. I went to homecomings before in the South, and it was cool. And maybe it was where I was at the time mentally. I don't know. But when I moved here and I went to Central's homecoming for the first time, I thought it was like no other. I felt like I was
like you went to Central, right?
I felt like I went to Central because maybe the people I was with, everybody knew everybody. Yeah. We're on the track. I went down to the bowl because it was the first time that it opened since COVID, and I just seen all those people. But more importantly, I think the construct in which they have the track set up, where you can DJ, but you cannot sell food. So people have to give it away. Ironically, they start selling alcohol, but nevertheless, the fact that people volunteer to cook massive amount of food and just give it away,
right?
And so and drinks and all these other things. So I felt like I was home. I went to GHO to experience GHO and A&T, and I thought that it was just too overwhelming. It didn't feel like I went there. I didn't feel like I was home, although it still had that HBCU pride. I just think it was just too massive. It was so many people, and when things get too big, it can lose its substance. Right. And so I didn't go to Central, but I rep Central because I feel like I went there because I go to every homecoming.
And we're gonna be in the pit next year.
Yeah,
I'm not going in the pit.
Come on, bro. Come on.
I didn't go in the pit the first year, the second year, and I didn't go last year. Thank God, because I would have got shot.
Hey, you got to experience the pit at least one time.
I saw it from afar. When I went there the first time, all them people, I said, "Man, that looks very COVID-y. I'm not going there."
COVID-y.
Because it was right after COVID,
Did I go last year? You know what? I did go last year. I've been the last couple years.
That pit is something different.
I would say that to me is Black excellence. Yeah. When I experienced that.
It's not like I say, it's not a bad thing. I look at it like this: Black excellence is, I think Black excellence is the appetizer, and Black power is the entree.
Okay,
that's where you
Black
want.
Black power is what? Say that again.
Black excellence is the appetizer, and Black power is the entree.
Absolutely,
that's where you want to get to.
Absolutely, because you're not. It's like if you eat your dessert and you're gonna be hungry, or you're gonna get a sugar rush, and it's not fulfilling at a long period of time. But you need the power. To hold on to your excellence.
It goes to show you that you didn't reach the ceiling once you get there. You feel like
once you got the excellence. So we have two people that we invoked. We invoked Mr. Talley and Basquiat. They had the excellence, but they didn't have the power, because they had the power. They had the power to put their excellent work into places where power can see power, and therefore it can grow exponentially.
And you could maintain
the power, and they had the excellence. Remember, they didn't have the entree.
Right. They just had the excellence. They both left a legacy. It may not be financially, but they,
I think both are very well necessary You know, very well necessary. The problem I'm seeing now is we're just getting too focused on Black excellence being a primary. You know, there's more to it than that. And I think I'm seeing people on Instagram just wearing luxury clothes and they're like, oh, that's Black excellence. I'm like,
no.
All right. I'm like, all right, okay. I mean,
It
you
was
went
excellent
to a
that they can
ball.
afford it, but
Yeah, right,
they didn't
exactly.
create it.
Like, oh, okay, you went to a nice, Met Gala, Black excellence. All right, okay. I mean, I got it. Sure, but at the end of the day, it's the stuff that that maintains that excellence. What's the power behind it?
So if you can name somebody that exudes Black excellence and power, who would it be?
It's Jay-Z.
That was gonna be my guess.
Y'all gonna say who?
Yeah, Jay-Z, because he has it all. He has the excellence of his career, and he has the power that the career had bought because he was able to expound upon his excellence to begot power. We can also say in another light, of course, these are easy. The reason that's because he's in the news now. I mean, he's in our algorithms now. Nas, but I would say Robert Smith to get to where he is.
Robert Smith,
right?
Yeah.
Who's Robert Smith?
He's the billionaire hedge fund manager.
Yeah, he's the one. He's the one that gave them. What was it? Was it Morehouse?
Morehouse. One of the ones he graduated. Might have been Morehouse. It was one of them. He paid their tuition. The graduates in 22.
Yeah, I remember that.
22. Yeah.
All of them.
I would say this person in this controversy, but
don't say Diddy.
No,
I'm sorry. He's a venture capitalist. That's what Robert Smith is.
Larry, have we met? Do you really think I was Diddy?
Hey, I don't know. You put sugar on your grits, but that's another conversation.
For another day. I would say Herman Cain.
999.
Ooh.
If you think
Godfather of Pizza. I mean, he worked as a CEO of Godfather of Pizza. He didn't create. I mean, he was just a CEO.
He was a little bit more than that, and he put Black people on, young men on. He taught them about owning businesses. He was up there
until he wasn't.
Right.
Right.
And I can't even think of his name. The one who had the first Black hotel in Miami. He from DC. Can't think of his name.
I don't know about that one.
Know about that one, brother.
It'll come to me. You'll know the name if I can remember it, but maybe offline.
But I think, man, we got the general gist of how it should be set up. Like it's Black excellence is fine. You got to know how you operate. You got to know how you conduct yourself and how you gonna proceed going forward. But at the end of the day, what do you have in place to maintain it? Like, what's the generational wealth? What's the legacy what's the planning for your legacy? Things like that encompasses Black power for you, your family going forward, your community. That's where it is. That's where it comes from.
You're not gonna hold your excellence if you don't have any power.
Not at all, bro.
Very true.
It's gonna look nice on paper. It's gonna look nice on pictures and Instagram.
Yeah, but it's as the Bible say that your foundation is built on wood, hay, and stubble. That means it cannot sustain a fire. It will burn, right? So obviously the Rosewood, the Mounds Bayou, the Black Wall Street, and all of the various Black towns, Wilmington,
Tulsa, Wilmington,
So they were built on wood, hay, and stubble. So therefore they burned. There wasn't no solid foundation of economic power.
No,
their economic freedom was through money and the ownership of these businesses and the Black dollar traveling within that place. But they didn't have any power. When I mean by power, the power of protection.
Right.
Yep.
They didn't have it.
You wouldn't say
you know what
they didn't have power, right? And they didn't have power within the state and local places to prevent militias from coming in and destroying the place.
Yep.
Leon, you wouldn't say John Hope Bryant is considered Black excellence and power?
Yeah, I would say, I'll say him, John Hope Bryant.
Yeah, but where did he teach?
Hold on, I'm trying to look at this.
Did he teach us?
He's teaching us now.
No. Oh, I'm thinking John Hope Franklin. My bad.
Yeah. Don Peoples is what I'm thinking about.
Oh, okay.
Don Peoples?
Yeah.
It's a new one, man. I didn't
Would
read
you
that.
guys say, and I'm just throwing it out here, Tyler Perry?
Excellence? I would say, aside from the substance of things, there is a form of excellence in there. And remember, my determination of holding excellence is having the power to hold it, right? Mm-hmm. So he has the power to hold it because no one owns him. He owns his own studio. He don't have to beg anyone for anything. Whatever he thinks he want to make, he can do it, right? Mm-hmm. So he's able to sustain his excellence because he's got the power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll see how he make it out of this crap that he's in. But you know, it's not that I'm not a Tyler Perry fan. I'm more of a fan than I'm not. I don't get into the bashing of him of what he's sexual orientation
like his history. You don't care about.
I don't care about his sexual orientation. I don't care about him having a woman as a beard. I don't care about that because that's not my homeboy. You know, I don't have to be seen with him.
You just his feelings of how he is. He owns his own.
He owns his own, and he's put on a lot of black people, as he bragged about when he said when he made that speech at the BET Awards. He had to know that the machine was about to come up against him because it's just the way it works. Is you can set your watch to it. As soon as he talked about black economics, black power, and him owning and this administration. And then he says he's made more black millionaires than any other studio. They was like, oh, really? You did?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. We got something for you, partner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so the hotel is the Royal Palm in Miami on Collins Avenue. The Royal Palm. Yeah, Don Peoples. Yeah.
As a total note.
I'm going to throw another person out before we go. Oprah.
Yeah. I mean, because Oprah's been in it for a minute.
Been in for a minute.
She built her own empire. Let's put it that way.
She built her own.
Yeah,
she was excellent at what she did, and she maintained that excellence through the power she obtained.
Yeah,
no doubt. She fits the description.
Now, some people say she had some help.
She have done a little more
from others.
I think so. I think she could do a little more.
Well,
she had some help from the others.
Tell you why I'm not. This is why I'm gonna tell you why I'm not gonna negate the other help, because that's what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Listen, I teach people all the time. Get those people to love you, get them to respect you, and they'll fight your battles for you.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Yeah. Get them to love you, get them to respect you, and they'll fight your battles for you.
That's what the MAG is doing right now.
Yeah. So, you know, if you're black, he just replace the word, you know, just you get them, replace that with the other word. If you get them to love you and you get them to respect you, they will fight your battles for you.
And with that,
will be at work, they will be like, I'm sorry, go ahead, sign off, man.
With that being said, make sure you go to impel4merch.com. That's impel4merch.com. All things Impel4 merch, still 40% off. Tune in to the next episode of the Impel4 podcast. And remember, seize the opportunity to grasp your dreams.
Peace.
Peace.